The crisis in Greece, we've seen the pictures. Sometimes they can be rather, well, manipulative. Maybe it's not quite as bad as that, but we've seen rioting and looting of stores and violence and MPs resigning. It looks bad, does it not? Let's really find out from someone who is there, Nathalie Savaricas, a journalist in Athens, and she joins us now by Skype. How are you?
Good. Survived last night, so pretty good.
Well, what happened last night? Because it looked pretty severe to us.
Well, it was quite bad. I mean, Greece is often, if you like, convulsed by rioting and by protest and strike action. But yesterday was pretty unprecedented. Heavy looting, rampaging throughout the city center. Youth primarily, but it kind of took over. You know, more and more protesters were challenging the authorities here. Now, it was a massive turnout, really. 80,000 people, some even say 100,000 people protested outside Parliament. All this while the MPs inside were debating a very controversial bill that is hoped to secure Greece's financial survival in the long run. But however, it comes attached with another round of very painful spending cuts. And this is what Greeks opposed last night.
Now, the allegation, the claim by protesters, at least those not rioting and looting, is that they do understand cuts have to take place, but that the majority, too many, are on the backs of the poor rather than the wealthy. Is that true?
Yes, it is. Why? Because it's easier to go after the pensioner or the public servant because that's what the government can control. They can control their wages and the pensions that they disperse. So they're the first ones to be affected. And pensions in Greece are pretty low. Most of them are around 700 Canadian dollars. And that's what the Greeks are especially strongly opposing, because pensioners are people who've contributed all their life with paying their taxes, right, and mainly being good, if you like, citizens. And now, like, you know, in the third age, they're being hit seriously by the government, who's scrambling really to meet its targets when it comes to revenue. Of course, the government has been unable to crack down on tax evasion, which is really a scourge in Greece. And it's one of the main measures, if you like, included in the second bailout, on really overhauling the taxation system.
Right. Well, you said $700. $700 a week, a month?
A month, right, yes.
So $700 a month, but what would the average salary be for a Greek?
If my math is correct, it wouldn't be that much higher. Right. So it only would cover the basics, essentially. That is rent, you know, food, heating, especially in the cold months. Now petrol has gone up a lot because taxation has increased on it, not to mention everything like the political developments in the Middle East, which has also added to this. And of course, transportation. It really covers the bare minimum, and which is why it's forced many young people to either return with their parents and live with them, or alternatively look for jobs abroad. And that's what we've seen, a wave, like the brain drain, as we call it, of young educated Greeks leaving en masse to look for jobs in other countries.
Yes, which of course has terrible long-term consequences for our middle class and so on. Now, I know there's a lot of anger against Germany, but surely you can understand that the German position in the East in particular, they have economic challenges. They're not the country they were. The economy is not as strong as it was. But why this antipathy towards Germany in particular?
Well, because mainly because they're the ones who are calling, if you like, for the austerity measures. But also, Germany is the paymaster. They're the one who are bankrolling all this. So their demands are pretty harsh on Greeks. And Greeks don't really understand it, especially as they're buying all the Mercedes, they say here, or all the cars. Also, there have been a number of scandals between Greece and German companies. There's also accusation of Greece buying some German submarines, which were actually faulty.
Yeah.
So there's this issue like disagreement. But of course, most of the ire is directed towards Germany's politicians, though of course, as most of such conflicts, if you like, it's starting now to be a people's disagreement as well.
Yeah. Is there, and I know some MPs have voted against their party and are being expelled from the party because of it. Is there any chance of a genuine revolution taking place? There's not that large a population. It wouldn't require that many people to simply have had enough. Is there a chance Greece could lose its democracy? Are the military in any way waiting in the wings?
I strongly doubt it. There's been a lot of unfounded rumors about that. Greece has a very painful past. The dictatorship was overthrown in 1974. So this is a huge taboo subject. I really doubt that the military would get involved unless it's really complete and protracted chaos in the streets. However, yes, we did have an important number of resignation yesterday, or rebel MPs who were ejected from their party. That has caused the coalition government now to talk of early elections taking place even in April. So that is the likeliest scenario. Now, also, when we talk about revolution, there's something that needs to be mentioned, and that's the apathy that has taken over Greece. Before yesterday, all the nationwide strikes and protests the turnout was really low. So yesterday was quite a surprise, if you like. It was really the anger reaching boiling point.
Terrific analysis, really. We'd like to have you back on the show. You take care of yourself, and maybe next week we'll contact you again and find out what is happening.
Thank you.